welcome back to the channel. So within this past 6 months, I saw 7 murder mysteries that took place between the late 80s and the early 90s. And I want to tell you all about them. Consider subscribing to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and let's dive into these movies. So the first film I caught, in fact, it's streaming right now on HBO Max. It's called Blood Simple. Came out in 1984. It was directed by one of the Coen brothers, Joel Coen, I believe. And it's a simple premise. It takes place in Texas. A marriage that's fallen out. The wife, played by Frances McDormand, she cheats on her husband with a bartender. Now, her husband owns this bar, and things get messy very quickly. And she's to the point where she's scared of her husband. A lot of twists and turns are revealed. Some people get killed in the process, but this film took me by surprise. It's all about the mystery with this one, and its execution was even more rewarding. And you should definitely check this one out. Blood Simple, I'm going to remember for quite some time. There's another movie I caught for the first time. And it's called Body Double, also from 1984, directed by Brian De Palma. And this one, again, this one caught me by surprise. This is the movie where you say it takes you down a rabbit hole, and it certainly did that for me. Essentially we have this gentleman who has been asked by a friend to watch over his house, and this guy's house is practically some sort of mansion up in the Hollywood Hills, California. And one night, he's bored, he's not doing much. He looks out the window and sees a very beautiful woman across the view. It becomes a little bit of an obsession with him. And one night he's looking at her through a telescope, and her home gets invaded by this mysterious gentleman. This man who's obsessed with this woman, he becomes someone else in the process, because there is a situation that he puts himself in, and it's very bizarre, and it's so compelling, and it keeps you in suspense throughout. It's a messy film, but in such a positive light. If you haven't seen Body Double by Brian De Palma, check this one out. I'm so glad I did. For 1986, we have Manhunter, directed by Michael Mann. Now, if you've seen the film Silence of the Lambs, you know that there's a character in the movie by the name of Hannibal Lecter. Well, this film, in Manhunter, he's really introduced to that film, and he's also in jail for his crimes of cannibalism. Now, this one doesn't include Clarice Starling, but it's about a man who works for a police department. He's on the hunt for a killer, and this Hannibal Lecter guy, fills him in on some information, may have a lead on where this guy lives. And it's a very paint by numbers murder mystery, but I dug it. I thought there were some risks where I was not expecting. I think Manhunter is a bit of a underrated film, so I urge you guys to check it out. I saw Manhunter on a streaming service called Canopy, and it's free. It just requires you to put in your library card number. From 1987, we have Fatal Attraction. This is another film I saw for the first time. It stars Michael Douglas and Glenn Close. They have an affair with one another. Michael Douglas's character is a family man. He has a wife and kids. And it's to the point where he wants to break off this affair with Glenn Close. But she falls in love head over heels with Michael Douglas, and he wants no part of her anymore. Essentially, it's to a point where she's calling him constantly and wants to see him again. And it gets physical. It reaches the breaking point to where Michael Douglas has to move out of the city with his family to get away from this woman. The situation escalates at the end, and it's a scary situation to be in. But nonetheless, Fatal Attraction is a movie you should seek out for sure. Alright, the next few movies are from the early 90s. Here we go. 1990, we have Pacific Heights. Now it stars Michael Keaton, and he is a gentleman who shows up in town. Now these two other leads, they are renting out a building, and Michael Douglas just wants to rent a room from them. He does, and weeks go by. He does not pay his rent. He makes a lot of noise during the night. He locks his apartment door so the tenants don't get into his apartment, and so it's a bit of it builds towards a suspense mystery. What's this guy doing behind closed doors? Why is he making so much noise? And so the tenants do a lot of investigating, but at the same time they get framed for his mistakes, and it escalates very quickly over time. And this movie, that's what makes this movie so great. Michael Douglas is a sleazeball in this movie, but he pulls it off. His performance, he did his job. So that was from 1990, Pacific Heights. From 1992, I saw a movie called Bad Lieutenant, and it stars an actor named Harvey Keitel. He is a NYPD officer, detective. He's a crooked cop. He does drugs on his own time. He's involved with some gambling. He's in debt, and all this culminates. All this there's a lot of tension, a lot of build-up throughout this movie. At the same time, he's dealing with this murder that took place, and he's trying to solve it. And ultimately, it's him racing against time, and you don't feel for the guy. You just watch him make mistake after mistake in this movie. Harvey Keitel is superb in this performance. I urge you guys to check it out. I believe it's still streaming on Tubi. Last movie on this list, you guys know it. A lot of you have heard of it, at least, as 1992's Basic Instinct. Wow, this movie, I still have questions about this movie. But again, it stars Michael Douglas. He works for the police department. We also stars Sharon Stone. She is a suspect in this murder that took place, and a lot of steamy scenes occur. So on his off time, Michael Douglas does a lot of investigating, so much so that he gets involved romantically with Sharon Stone. And he can't quite, get out of that situation because she's a suspect. She could have actually committed this murder. And there's a sticky situation that baffles me. Sharon Stone in this movie, she befriends a woman who just got out of prison for murdering her husband. And it's just, she's like buddy with her. That situation is just odd, but this movie keeps you guessing until the very end. And that is why it's on my first time thrillers list. I'm so glad I saw all these films. Let me know in the comments below. Have you heard of any of these films? Look forward to more content very soon, guys. Take care. Folks, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really helps out in the long run. Darkroom Reviews, it's the place you should be subscribed to. Join the channel. It's free.